In this lesson, we will build a clean project from scratch and create a simple animation. The goal is not just to animate something, but to build correct habits from the very beginning. Files you will need for this lesson. Before starting, prepare the following files in a folder on your computer. You may use My Files, which you can download by the link in the first comment below this video. Create Lesson Assets folder. Inside it, assemble no background PNG, transparent PNG with alpha channel, Meadow MP4, background video, and lesson title PSD, a simple Photoshop title layer. Keep these files in the same main lesson folder, where you will save your project file. Initialize the project and workspace. Launch After Effects and click New Project on the Start screen. At the top of the application window, go to Window, Workspace, select the Standard Workspace. To ensure the default layout, click the Workspace Options menu, the three blue lines, and select Reset to Saved Layout. Now organize the project panel. To avoid clutter, create folders in the project panel. Click the new folder icon at the bottom of the panel, rename it Sources, and press Enter. Click in the blank area to deselect that folder, and then create a second folder named Comps. Save your work. Select File, Save, or use a shortcut Command-S on Mac or Ctrl-S on Windows. Navigate to your lesson folder and name the file Start a Project version 1, V1. It's a good practice to give projects versions numbers to easily see revisions. If you use this naming convention, it will give you opportunity to use a very helpful File, Increment and Save later to keep a trail of previous versions. And sometimes you will certainly need to go to the previous versions. Import initial footage. Select your Sources folder in the project panel. Go to File, Import, File. Navigate to the Lesson Sources folder, select no background PNG, and click Import. Now import a Meadow file. Double-click on an empty area on the project panel to open the Import dialog again. Select a file named Meadow and click Import to import the file. Drag this new file into your Sources folder to keep it organized. Select the comp folder we created earlier. That way, the new composition we are about to create will be placed there automatically. Create a new composition. Go to Composition, New Composition. At the top of this dialog is the Preset pop-up menu, where you will find a number of common comp sizes and frame rates. You can also enter your own settings. In the Settings dialog, leave the name as Comp1. Use the preset HD 1920 by 1080 and 29.97 FPS for standard YouTube videos, and set duration to 0.5 or 5 seconds. Ensure the background color is black and click OK. This newly created composition will appear in your Comps folder under the name Comp1. By the way, the list of files on the project panel may be too narrow to see all the useful information. You can approach cursor to the right side of the panel. You will see a double-sided arrow which you can drag to the right, revealing additional file information. For now, just leave the reasonable width of the panel. Now we have created our first composition, which is empty for now. Let's start adding sources to this composition. First, add a background layer. Locate Meadow MP4 in your sources folder and drag it into the composition panel. This will act as your background layer. While you're dragging it, you will see that After Effects is trying to snap the source to the center of the composition. Sometimes you may misplace it. If it happens, you may use the second approach by dragging the source to the timeline directly. I suggest to click the lockbox for this layer. It will lock the layer in its position, so we will not accidentally move it. Select Lesson Title PSD in the project folder. When you import a Photoshop file into After Effects, a dialog window appears. This is completely normal. Photoshop files can contain multiple layers, and After Effects needs to know how you want to use them. You will see several options. Footage. This option flattens the file into a single image. All layers are merged together. Use this option only if you don't need to animate individual elements. Composition. This creates a new composition and keeps the layers separate. Composition. Retain layers sizes recommended. For this lesson, choose Composition Retain Layer Sizes. This option keeps each layer separate and preserves the original size of each element. That makes animation much more predictable and controlled. If you plan to animate the text independently, this is the correct choice. So remember, this dialog box is not an error. After Effects is simply asking how you want to structure your file. For structured animation work, choose Composition Retain Layer Sizes. Now use the shortcut Command +/ for Mac or Ctrl +/ for Windows to add it to the composition and ensure it is perfectly centered. Now press the spacebar to preview your composition. Go to the start of the timeline by pressing Home button. Now let's look at how to access and control a layer's transform properties. In the timeline panel, find the layer called Lesson Title. Click the small arrow to the left of its name. This opens the layer and reveals a group called Transform. Click to the arrow next to Transform, and you will see the main properties that control the layer: anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. Opening these sections is often called twirling down. While you close them again, this is called twirling up. Next to each property, you will see numbers. These numbers control the layer. Instead of typing immediately, you can place your mouse over a number. The cursor will change to the left-right arrow. Now click and drag left or right. This is called scrubbing a value. As you drag, watch the composition panel. You will see the layer change in real time. This is one of the most important skills in After Effects, adjusting values visually, instead of guessing numbers. If you hold the Ctrl key Windows or Command key Mac while dragging, the value changes more slowly. This allows for finer adjustments. You can also click directly on a number and type an exact value if you need precision. Press Tab to move to the next field and press Enter when finished. Some properties, like position and scale, have two numbers: X horizontal movement, left and right, and Y vertical movement, up and down. For scale, the X and Y values are linked together by default. This prevents the layer from stretching unevenly. If you click the small chain icon, you can unlock them and adjust width and height separately. In short, twirl down to reveal properties. Scrub values to adjust visually. Type values for precision. And unlock dimensions only when needed. This is how you begin controlling a layer instead of just looking at it. Now let's practice interactive adjustments. Return to the original transform settings by pressing Reset. Now we are going to control the layer directly inside the Composition panel, instead of changing numbers in the timeline. While you do this, keep watching the timeline panel. You will see the numeric values update automatically. This helps you understand how visual movement connects to actual numbers. Now move the layer. First, make sure the selection tool is active. Shortcut, press V. Now click on the title in the Composition panel and drag it. This changes the position. If you want to move it only left and right or only up and down, start dragging first, then hold Shift. This constrains the movement to one straight line. While the layer is still selected, look at the small square boxes around it. These are called handles. Click and drag one of the corner handles to resize the layer. If you want to keep the original proportions, so it doesn't stretch, start dragging and then hold Shift. This keeps the width and height scaled evenly. Rotate the layer, rotation. To rotate, select the rotation tool. Shortcut, press W. Now drag around the layer in a circular motion. When finished, press V to return to the selection tool. Finally, if everything looks messy from experimenting, click Reset next to the transform in the timeline. You are now back to the original state. So far, we've been transforming the layer manually, moving, scaling, rotating it ourselves. Now we are going to let After Effects move the layer automatically over time. This process is called keyframing. Keyframing means you tell After Effects where something should be at one moment in time and where it should be later, and After Effects create the motion between those 2 points. Step 1. Go to the start of the timeline. First, make sure you are at the very beginning of the composition. Look at the time display in the timeline panel. It should read 0000000. If it doesn't, drag the blue playhead current time indicator to the start, or press Home on your keyboard to jump there instantly. Always set your starting position first. This avoids confusion later. Now select the layer Lesson Title. Press P. This reveals only the position property. Using shortcuts, keep the timeline clean and focused. We want the title to appear from below the screen and move upward. In the Composition panel, turn on Snapping in the top toolbar. Click the title near its top edge. Drag it downward below the visible frame. When the layer gets close to the bottom edge of the composition, it will snap into alignment. Now look at the position property in the timeline. To the left of position, you will see a small stopwatch icon. Click it. When you click the stopwatch, it turns blue. A small diamond appears in the timeline. This diamond is a keyframe. This means, at this exact moment in time, the layer must stay in this exact position. You have now created your first animation point. In simple terms, go to the start of the timeline, move the layer where you want it to begin, click the stopwatch. You have just told After Effects, this is where the motion starts. In the next step, we'll tell it where the motion ends, and that's when the animation becomes visible. Now we are going to tell After Effects where the animation should end. Drag the blue playhead at 0, 1, 10, 1 second and 10 frames. You are now at a new moment in time. In the composition panel, drag the title upward to where you want it to settle. After you begin dragging, hold Shift to keep the movement perfectly vertical. As soon as you release the mouse, something important happens. A new keyframe is automatically created at this new time. You now have one keyframe at the start, below the screen, and one keyframe at 0, 1, 10, final position. After Effects automatically creates motion between them. That's animation. What is the motion path? You may notice a line connecting the start and end positions in the composition panel. This line is called the motion path. It shows the exact route your layer takes. The small dots on the path represent frames. Each dot shows where the layer will be at that frame. The motion path only appears when the layer is selected. Now preview the animation. Drag the playhead back and forth. You will see the layer move along the motion path. To preview in real time, press the spacebar or click the play button in the preview panel. Press spacebar again to stop. If the animation feels too fast or too slow, go to the timeline. Drag the second keyframe left or right. Left happens sooner, faster animation. Right happens later, slower animation. You are not changing the position, only the timing. You can also change the position of a keyframe after it's created. In the timeline next to position you will see two small arrows, a diamond between them. These are the keyframe navigation arrows. Click them to jump exactly to a keyframe. When you are exactly on it, the diamond turns blue. Now you can drag the layer or scrap the position values, and you will update that keyframe. Very important concept. If you are not exactly on an existing keyframe and you move the layer, After Effects will create a new keyframe. Sometimes this is intentional. Sometimes it's accidental. If you create one by mistake, press Undo or select the extra keyframe and press Delete. This saves your progress under a new version number, ensuring your work up to this point is secure before you begin adding more layers. Before you close this project, make sure you save it properly. In the next lesson, we will continue working with the exact file you created today. This means your folder structure, composition, layers, and keyframes must remain intact. Again, go to File, Increment and Save, so you preserve this version. Building the habit of saving structured versions is part of becoming efficient in After Effects. To help you verify your result, I have uploaded the finished AE project file from this lesson. You can download it using the link in the first pinned comment. If something in your animation behaves differently, open my file and compare settings step by step. Additionally, I have prepared a detailed step-by-step infographic PDF summarizing all procedures from this lesson: project setup, importing assets, transform controls, keyframing, timing, adjustments, and version management. You can download it from the same link and use it as a reference while practicing. So save your project now, we will build directly on it in the next lesson.